Hey, Crystal Maiden here, and now we're moving on to Seaside Hill. Just today, in fact, I actually tried out Sonic Heroes. Specifically, I tried out Seagate and I forget what it's called. Well, of course, Seaside Hill for Team Rose. I don't know why I forgot that name when it's in Generations that we're playing right now. For some reason, I just thought of Ocean Palace first. But yeah, it's really not that bad of a game. At least from what I played. Like, from what I've heard, the first level in Sonic Heroes kind of creates false expectations about how good the game is. Like, I didn't think the controls were bad at all. Better than the modern games. None of the characters really felt slow to me, but I'm spoiled by the boost gameplay. I can't get thrills from the Dreamcast era games anymore. So I think it'd be better if they focused on the platforming and navigating through the 3D environment in ways other than just going fast in a straight line, because they're not really going fast compared to the later games. I know that's kind of hindsight judging it, but I don't know. Point is, it seems to be a good game for what I play, but I'll play more of it. Anyways, don't you just love how the bubble shield just utterly breaks this level? For some reason they decided to make Seaside Hill a homage to water levels, which is weird because everybody hates water levels, so I don't know why people keep trying them. And it's kind of petty because, well, if you have a water level, okay, well, the drowning is kind of annoying. But if you always have bubbles right when you drown, and like the level designer is good enough at predicting when you'll drown, that he puts their bubbles generally right where you need them, wherever you need them, then the drowning is not really a problem. Like in Labyrinth Zone, I never really found the drowning to be a problem. Except for that one section where I had to launch myself up to a really cramped area where I landed on a switch. And if I didn't have enough momentum, I wouldn't hit it, and I would just hit a ceiling and fall. But other than that, it's a great platforming level. See, I was trying to hold down there to roll into a ball during the loop, but I didn't, and I just awkwardly fell. I don't think that's actually a problem in Generations 3DS. In fact, wow, they decided to pay homage to the spike bug. I had rings, and it still killed me. But anyways, Generations 3DS actually has much more accurate Genesis physics for Sonic. Like, basically, it has the spin dash, like, it's still overpowered, but he doesn't have that very noticeable uncurling problem. And you also can't just walk into springs and spring them, which is actually a bad thing, because I just found it so annoying in Generations 3DS how pace breaking it was walking into springs, and then they stopped me, and then I had to jump onto them. It's like the whole point of a spring is to launch you fast, to keep the fast pace going, but if it breaks the pace by stopping you, what's the point? I think this game has the right idea by having you just walk into springs like a Sonic Advance. Also, I like that spinning wheel that chases after you because it provides excitement and a memorable action set piece. But yeah, I really do love how the bubble shield breaks this level. So it really, really sucks that you can't bring equipable skills into missions. Why can't you just use skills for every mission in the game? The Race a Doppelganger mission for Seaside Hill forces you to beat the entire level again. That's how all of the Race the Doppelganger missions are. And so that means you have to beat it with a... Yeah, I'm calling him a liar here because he said press L. Like, he basically is misleading you about how do you control the cart, which I never actually show off in this level. I think I showed off in a mission in an extra part, because I took an alternate route that I ended up avoiding it. Basically, he said press L to turn the cart left and right. And I think that confused me because he's actually talking about the left analog stick. I don't know why they call an analog stick L. Like, when I see L in a controls prompt, that makes me think of, like, L trigger and LB. Why would you call a control stick L? Like, that's also why I got confused about how to do the tricks at first. Like, I don't, like, do they really think we're that stupid that we're going to think he's talking about the camera stick? We never even used the camera stick in this game. I dashed to the diagonally there because I was suddenly thrown into a 3D section from a 2D section. See, this is why they shouldn't have 2D and 3D sections of the 3D Sonic games because it's just awkward. Sometimes you don't have proper transitions. Sometimes it's just awkward. And it kind of messes with your brain. You should only transition into 2D to 3D and vice versa during really automated sections where you're not doing anything. Like grinding. There's a lot less grinding in this game than the Leech Project, I guess. At least as far as I remember. Which is good, because it's just automated and boring. Like, I don't really see the point of keeping it around if they're just going to make it so automated. Like, I like rail switching, but yeah, this introduces wall jumping to generations. It's good. Like, you just keep on holding one direction and mashing the A button and it works. Although they restricted it to only specific looking walls, which means it's kind of jarring at one point in this level, where suddenly you're expected to do a wall jump off something that doesn't look like the other things you wall jumped off. I found this level to be pretty annoying. Like, as you can see, I suffered from checkpoint starvation there. Like, this is definitely a level that I took some time getting warmed up to. Like, it's a 3D platforming level, as you can see. Like, it's got fast sections, but it's also got stuff like this. Like, this is an alternate route area. But the last time I tried to take a route to the right, I ended up air dashing instead of homing attacking and it fell to my death. So I didn't even bother taking that route. So that was kind of annoying. Like, they put a targeting reticule there to create the illusion that the homing attack is more accurate. When really it just makes it easier for you to tell when you should homing attack, like when you can. But the homing attack can still miss. Like, I think the targeting reticule should disappear instantly. It shouldn't still be there even when you reach a point where you can't homing attack and instead air dash. I don't really see the point of the air dash. I don't know. Like, some people are annoyed when you hit the air dash instead of homing attack, especially in Sonic 4. But anyways, this is a good level. I just found it annoying when I first played it. I died a lot. Don't like how you have to boringly wait here. The remixes barely sound at all like they were remixed, you know, like, it's like Jun Tsunoy decided to just play the same song again. Which isn't really a complaint since it sounded fine originally. But yeah. See, it's dark here, but the wall jumping tile is dark. So, you get flung into it, and you pretty much have to, you have a split second to react. Because you're not going to see it coming. Because it's dark, and you're in the dark. So, if you don't wall jump off it right away, then you're going to get doomed to the lower route, which leads you into a really awkward section of the level where you have to walk along a very narrow path over something with stiff generations controls. Like, people can skip that part, but still, like, that's not a very fun water area. This is the part that I'm talking about. You get launched up by a... This is the worst possible camera angle for this. It's so diagonal. Why can't it just stay behind Sonic like this? And even then, you boost to the left of it rather than just boosting straight ahead. Why? I don't know why they decided. I mean, you can skip it if you take the right route, but you're not going to be able to skip it on the first playthrough. But yeah, like, there were multiple different people who worked on the music of this game. There was Jun Tsunoy, and there were other people as well. Like, Cash made some of the remixes, like the dreaded Supersonic Racing remix that completely auto-tunes the beautiful singing voice of the original Sonic R singer. A lot of people hate that, and it plays in one of the missions. Yeah, you can see I got this cutscene from YouTube because Classic Sonic showed up first. That kind of confused me about how to look for the cutscene. Another thing that I find confusing about this is that perfect time. Why isn't he attacking anyone? He's an Eldritch Abomination who's mindlessly evil. Why isn't he attacking them? Instead, he just decides to fly around randomly and practice his knight acrobatics. Like, why? And what is the purpose of him doing all this to the levels? How does it benefit anyone? How does it benefit the Time
I guess
Eater?
we have to run like there's no tomorrow, or there won't
And
be
this is a very
tomorrow.
bland line. I mean, it's good that Sonic is actually taking things seriously, but still, it's kind of bland. This is another character that Pontac and Graf actually treat with grace and dignity.
It takes a mighty foe to trap a ninja. Be on your guard, Sonic.
He has a really cool line, and a voice that isn't annoying.
Thank you, my friend. Beware, for I have looked into the soul of our enemy, and I saw only darkness.
Like, his voice is so cool, it's calm and collected, which is suited of a ninja, rather than trying too hard to be overly gruff and edgy and, oh, evil must die. I mean, I agree with that sentiment, but still. Like, I think they... Infinite loading screens. You gotta love those character mods. So I decided to play as Percival instead. I end up showing off Lancelot in extra parts. This is Zespio's mission, and it's pretty annoying and obnoxious because you pretty much have to homing attack the searchlights and hope that they actually hit Espio. Like, it's not like you don't have much control over them. They just sort of move around, and you just have to hope that they catch Espio. I don't even understand why you're doing this in the context of the universe. Like, at least with the padding of treasure hunting, it was justified because Knuckles had to find all the Master Emeralds. That was his guardian. That was his guardian job, to find all the shards. And, well, with Tails it was less justified because he could have just turned his Cyclone into a plane and flew over all the levels. Although, like with the indoors cramped area levels, he couldn't have just flown over them. He pretty much had to go into them with a mech and attack. But, like, most of the time when you have padding in a Sonic game, in terms of the gameplay, it's justified by the story, rather than just being something completely stupid and ridiculous that makes no sense to happen in the universe. Why is Sonic doing this? Why are his friends competing with him if they're his friends? Why are they standing in the way of him getting to Eggman? Like at least with the Werehog, it was justified as Sonic going through levels and making his way, like, so he can get keys to get to the boss. Although I don't know why, like, they could have easily just removed the Werehog from the game and it would have been over in like 2 seconds after years and years of development time. Like, see that's the thing, when people complain about, I just want a game where there's only boosting and that's it. Why can't boosting gameplay stand on its own? Well, that's because it takes a gigantic amount of development time to make those gigantic levels that you're just boosting through all the time. And with all that development, you would just take like a few hours to beat it if there was no padding whatsoever. Like, look at Generations. It's the closest we had to an all boost game. Even then, it still has classic Sonic. And even then, a lot of people complain about how it's too short. So do you really want an all boost game when, like, it's not like they can have 20 zones to make it an acceptable length, because it takes a million years to design even one zone. So it's unrealistic to expect there to be an all boost game when it takes that long to design even one. But yeah, that was Blaze in her Sonic and the Black Knight Percival gear. She looks pretty cool. In Sonic and the Black Knight itself, she's kind of she's still a good character to play, but she's the skill-based character. Like, she's more about speed, and so a lot of people think she's not as good as the other characters. I forget exactly why. They actually say in creating the rabbit's profile in this game, oh, what a coincidence, she's right here. But yeah, they actually say that she's made her first appearance in Sonic CD. What? Again, this is supposed to be a big anniversary title, and they forget what game the characters come from. I mean, I know it's hard to keep track of so many different games, but still. Like this is why I don't take Sega seriously when it comes to them being in charge of the canon, and only they have the right idea what the canon is. Because they don't even keep track of the canon themselves. Like, they said Vector the alligator instead of Vector the crocodile on the website of Sonic Chronicles, for example. So, like, Sega can just change the canon wherever they want, even when they remember it. So, I just view canon as whatever I want it to be. I mean, I just look at the games themselves and what the games say, and if something directly contradicts most of the games, then I can dismiss it as non-canon. Like Sonic Drift. Like, why are they racing each other? That makes no sense. Why would they agree to have Eggman race them, and why isn't Eggman trying to take over the world? The plot makes no sense. So it can't be canon. And for, like, Sonic Spinball, well, it doesn't make any sense because there's way too many Chaos Emeralds and they're all the same color. So either it's an alternate universe or it's not canon. Either way doesn't really make a difference, but like, I like to think that the Riders series takes place in the future version, but still in the same timeline as Sonic. But whether it's canon or not, doesn't really matter. Isn't this appropriate? Like you have Blaze and you have Cream as your partner, and Cream and Blaze are like best friends. I honestly didn't actually plan it that way. Like I didn't know that the next mission that I was gonna choose was going to be a Cream one. So like this is actually a really happy coincidence. Like I like Blaze. I don't really like. It just sucks that she's only really associated with how confusing her backstory is. Even though I think it was Takashi Iizuka, the leader of Sonic Team, he literally did confirm that she's from the Soul Dimension, and yet people still just think she's just being confusing and that's all she does. Like it just sucks. Although again, like I think she's really only at her best when Sonic is being insufferable, because then she's the audience surrogate. Like otherwise she just, like in Colors, yes, she's a badass, and that's really it. Basically in this mission you have a limited amount of times where you can press the Y button to make Cream give you a ring. And those are the only rings you have in the level. But it's Sonic Generations, so you don't really have to worry about dying because you don't have any rings. In fact, I didn't even notice that you had a limited amount of those ring things at all. In fact, I just assumed that you could get an infinite amount of rings from her. It really goes to show you how easy the mission is. And I'm not complaining at all. I love the missions in this game. And something about the mission just called out to me to play all of them and beat all of them. It's not like with Sonic Adventure 2 where I'm perfectly fine with ignoring them. Maybe it's because like there's doors in the hub world and they clearly have like bells that aren't there when you haven't beaten them yet. So it just compels you to beat them. And there's also the fact that you unlock sound test songs. Even if some of the sound test songs are like really cheap MIDI remixes of Sonic 3 songs because of bullshit copyright law. I'm guessing that's why they couldn't just use the original ones.